Today, we're heading to the 1970s to explore 20 classic breakfasts that were once staples in American homes but have now mostly disappeared from our plates and memories. From the sugary cereals that fueled Generation X to the hearty homemade dishes that fed baby boomers, we'll be diving into breakfast favorites that defined an era of vibrant flavors, bold advertisements, and the dawn of convenience foods. Number 1. Mapo Hot Cereal. Mapo Hot Cereal was a beloved breakfast staple in the 1970s, known for its signature maple flavor. Unlike regular oatmeal, Mapo's sweetness came from natural maple flavoring, making it a favorite for kids. It gained popularity thanks to its famous commercial catchphrase, "I want my Mapo," featuring the animated character Marky Mapo. The cereal was marketed as a wholesome, warm meal that parents could feel good about serving. Easy to prepare with hot water or milk, Mapo provided a quick, comforting breakfast option. Though its popularity has declined, it remains a nostalgic memory for many from the 70s. Number 2. Danish Gounds. Danish Gounds were a unique toaster pastry introduced by Kellogg's in the early 1970s, designed as a quick, easy breakfast option. Unlike traditional Pop-Tarts, Danish Gounds had a spiral design, mimicking the look of Danish pastries. The filling, which came in flavors like cinnamon, apple, and strawberry, was wrapped in flaky, buttery dough, giving them a more luxurious feel compared to other toaster pastries of the time. These pastries were part of a growing trend for portable breakfasts, appealing to busy families who needed a fast solution in the mornings. They were designed to be popped in the toaster, much like their rival Pop-Tarts, but many remember them as having a richer texture and a flakier crust. Despite their initial popularity, Danish Gounds were eventually discontinued, likely due to stiff competition in the toaster pastry market and the dominance of Pop-Tarts. However, they remain a nostalgic favorite for those who grew up in the 1970s, often remembered for their unique shape and the comforting warmth they brought to breakfast. Number 3. Space Food Sticks. Space Food Sticks were an innovative snack created by Pillsbury in collaboration with NASA during the height of the space race. Designed as a portable, easy-to-eat food for astronauts during space missions, these bars were nutrient-dense and packed with calories, intended to provide energy in small, compact portions. Unlike typical breakfast items, they were designed for zero-gravity consumption, meaning they wouldn't crumble or make a mess. In the 1970s, Space Food Sticks were commercialized and marketed to the general public as a futuristic snack. They came in flavors like peanut butter, caramel, and chocolate, appealing to children and adults who were fascinated by space exploration. While similar to modern energy bars in purpose, their soft, chewy texture and long, tube-like shape made them unique. Though they were a novelty item at the time, their appeal faded as the space race cooled and more convenient snack options became available. However, Space Food Sticks hold a special place in the memories of those who grew up during the space-obsessed 70s, representing a time when breakfast could be as exciting as a journey to the stars. Number 4. Mugo Lunch. Mugo Lunch was a quick meal product developed by Betty Crocker in the 1970s, designed for busy individuals looking for a convenient hot meal. The concept was simple. Add boiling water to the powdered mix in a mug, stir, and you had an instant meal. Although not specifically breakfast-focused, the scrambled eggs version became a go-to breakfast for many people due to its convenience. Other flavors included mac and cheese and chicken noodle, but the egg variant stood out for its quick preparation and minimal cleanup. Mugo Lunch was marketed towards working parents and kids who needed a fast, filling meal without much effort. It fit into the growing trend of convenience foods during the decade, alongside other instant meal options. The novelty of preparing food directly in a mug, along with the catchy name, made it appealing for those with limited time in the mornings. However, the powdered food texture and somewhat artificial taste eventually led to its decline. As the demand for more fresh and healthier options grew in the 1980s, Mugo Lunch faded from store shelves. Still, it remains a nostalgic example of how the 70s embraced fast, innovative food solutions, especially for breakfast. Number 5. Sunshine Raisin Biscuits. Sunshine Raisin Biscuits were a popular breakfast snack in the 1970s, produced by Sunshine Biscuits. These rectangular, layered biscuits were filled with plump raisins, offering a blend of crunch and chewy sweetness. They were unique in their thin, flaky texture, making them a lighter alternative to denser pastries or cookies. Each biscuit was made from wheat flour and raisins, and they were marketed as a more wholesome snack, often paired with coffee or tea in the mornings. Unlike many overly sugary cereals or toaster pastries, Sunshine Raisin Biscuits had a more natural sweetness from the raisins and were often considered a healthier breakfast option. They could be enjoyed straight from the box or warmed slightly in a toaster oven, which gave them a fresh, bakery-like quality. While the biscuits were discontinued, their combination of simplicity and subtle sweetness made them a nostalgic favorite for many. Their appeal lay in being a balanced, easy-to-grab snack that felt homey without being overly indulgent. Number 6. Grape Nuts with hot milk. Grape Nuts with hot milk was a popular breakfast choice in the 1970s, known for its simplicity and hearty texture. Unlike cold cereal, Grape Nuts became a warm, comforting meal when combined with hot milk. The heat softened the famously crunchy nuggets, transforming them into a denser, porridge-like consistency while still retaining a slight crunch. This combination was especially favored in colder months, offering a nourishing start to the day. The cereal itself, made from wheat and barley, was marketed as a wholesome, high-fiber option. It was low in sugar compared to many of the sugary cereals of the era, which made it appealing to health-conscious adults. Often served with a sprinkle of brown sugar or a handful of raisins for extra sweetness, Grape Nuts with hot milk was filling, nutritious, and versatile. The hot milk enhanced the natural nuttiness of the cereal, making it a classic, comforting breakfast that provided long-lasting energy. Although Grape Nuts are still available today, this warm preparation method is less common, making it a forgotten gem from past breakfast routines. Number 7. Pillsbury Space Age breakfasts. Pillsbury Space Age breakfasts were developed during the 1970s, capitalizing on the public's fascination with space exploration following the Apollo missions. Pillsbury collaborated with NASA to create foods that astronauts could eat in space, and they later adapted these concepts for everyday consumers. The Space Age breakfasts included freeze-dried meals like scrambled eggs, designed to be lightweight, long-lasting, and easily rehydrated with water or milk. These meals were marketed as futuristic and convenient, perfect for families wanting to experience a piece of the space race at their own breakfast tables. The freeze-drying process preserved the nutritional value while reducing the need for refrigeration, which appealed to people looking for modern, quick, and high-tech breakfast options. However, the taste and texture often didn't meet consumer expectations, and the novelty soon wore off. As food trends shifted towards fresher, less processed meals in the late 1970s and 1980s, the popularity of Pillsbury Space Age breakfasts faded. Despite their disappearance, they remain an iconic reflection of the era's obsession with technology and innovation in everyday life. Number 8. Crispy Critters cereal. Crispy Critters. Cereal was first introduced by Post in the 1960s, but gained notable attention in the 1980s when it was re-released with a new formula and mascot. Shaped like small animal figures, the cereal was made from corn and was lightly sweetened, designed to appeal to children with its fun shapes and catchy advertising. The cereal featured a charming mascot named Linus the Lionhearted, who became a recognizable figure in television commercials during the 80s relaunch. Despite its playful appearance, Crispy Critters struggled to maintain a lasting presence on store shelves due to intense competition from other sugary cereals. The appeal lay mainly in its novelty, crispy, animal-shaped pieces that made breakfast feel more like a playful experience for kids. The taste, however, was not particularly distinct compared to its competitors, leading to its eventual decline in popularity. It holds a nostalgic place for those who remember its brief comeback, but today, Crispy Critters is largely forgotten as other cereals with stronger branding and flavor profiles took over the market. Number 9. Omelette in a bag. Omelette in a bag became a popular cooking hack in the 1970s and 1980s for busy families looking for an easy way to prepare a hot, customizable breakfast without the mess of a traditional skillet omelette. The concept involved cracking eggs into a sealable plastic bag, adding desired ingredients like cheese, ham, vegetables, or seasoning, and then sealing the bag before submerging it into boiling water for several minutes. The result was a perfectly cooked omelette, shaped by the bag, that could be removed and served directly onto a plate. The appeal of the omelette in a bag method was its simplicity, making it an ideal choice for camping trips, large family gatherings, or any situation where cooking space and cleanup needed to be minimized. Multiple bags could be boiled simultaneously, allowing everyone to customize their omelette and cook it at the same time. While the method was seen as convenient, concerns later arose regarding the safety of boiling plastic bags, leading to its decline in popularity. Nonetheless, it remains a nostalgic and innovative approach to preparing breakfast quickly. Number 10. Toets. Toets were Nabisco's answer to the highly popular Pop-Tarts, offering a similar toaster pastry experience but with a slightly different twist. Introduced in the 1960s, but gaining traction in the 1970s, Toets featured a crispy pastry filled with fruit flavors like strawberry, blueberry, and apple cinnamon, designed to be quickly toasted for a warm breakfast or snack. Their thin, flaky crust was intended to provide a lighter, crisper texture compared to the thicker, softer Pop-Tarts. Although Toets enjoyed a solid run, their popularity waned by the 1990s as Kellogg's Pop-Tarts dominated the toaster pastry market. One key difference often cited by fans was that Toets lacked the heavy frosting that Pop-Tarts eventually embraced, making them a preferred option for those who found frosted toaster pastries too sweet. Despite their eventual discontinuation, Toets are remembered fondly for their classic, simple flavors and their place in the evolving world of fast, convenient breakfast foods. Number 11. Deviled ham and eggs. Deviled ham and eggs was a simple yet flavorful breakfast combination that gained popularity in the 1970s, blending the rich, spiced taste of deviled ham with scrambled or fried eggs. Deviled ham, often sold in a can under brands like Underwood, was a processed ham spread mixed with spices like mustard, paprika, and sometimes cayenne pepper, creating a tangy, slightly spicy flavor. This spread was stirred into scrambled eggs or served alongside fried eggs, adding a savory and rich twist to the traditional morning fare. The dish was quick to prepare, making it a favorite for busy households. The creamy texture of the deviled ham complemented the soft eggs, resulting in a hearty and satisfying meal. Deviled ham itself was versatile and could be used in sandwiches, but its pairing with eggs was a popular breakfast or brunch item during that time. Although it has faded in popularity, deviled ham and eggs remains a nostalgic recipe for those who remember its bold flavors from their childhood breakfasts. Number 12. Frosted Rice Krinkles. Frosted Rice Krinkles was a sweet, frosted rice cereal produced by Post in the 1960s and into the 1970s, designed to appeal to children with its sugary coating and fun marketing. The cereal consisted of puffed rice pieces, similar in texture to Rice Krispies, but with a sugary glaze that added crunch and sweetness. Its advertising featured an animated mascot, So High, a caricatured Asian boy, which reflected outdated and culturally insensitive marketing practices of the time. Despite its initial success, Frosted Rice Krinkles struggled to compete against other more popular sugary cereals like Frosted Flakes and eventually faded from shelves. However, its light, crispy texture and frosted sweetness left a mark on those who remember the cereal as a fun part of their morning routine. The cereal's marketing and the rise of health-conscious movements later in the decade likely contributed to its decline, as sugary cereals became more scrutinized. Number 13. Sizzlin Bacon. Sizzlin Bacon was introduced in the late 1970s as a leaner alternative to traditional pork bacon, marketed towards health-conscious consumers during a time when fat reduction became a popular trend. Made from a mixture of pork and beef, Sizzlin contained less fat than regular bacon, boasting a crispy texture while attempting to mimic the flavor and experience of classic bacon. Its slogan, "Move over bacon, there's something leaner," captured its essence as a healthier choice. Unlike regular bacon, which rendered a significant amount of fat during cooking, Sizzlin produced less grease, making it seem like a cleaner and more convenient option. However, its attempt to replace traditional bacon didn't fully resonate with consumers in the long term. Over time, as dietary trends shifted and the appeal of lean, processed alternatives declined, Sizzlin disappeared from grocery shelves. Though it's no longer available today, it remains a nostalgic product for those who remember it as part of the health food movement of the late 20th century. Number 14, B&M Brown Bread. B&M brown bread is a canned bread that traces its roots to traditional New England cuisine. Made from ingredients like whole wheat flour, molasses, and rye flour, it has a dense, dark texture with a slightly sweet flavor. The bread was commonly served with baked beans or topped with butter, making it a hearty addition to breakfast or dinner. The canning process preserved its freshness, allowing for long shelf life, which made it convenient for households in the 1970s, particularly in regions where homemade bread was less accessible. The preparation involved either steaming or toasting, which enhanced its rich molasses flavor. It was a popular choice for families who appreciated its nostalgic, old-fashioned appeal and easy storage. Though it may seem unusual today, B&M brown bread was a comforting, familiar option for many in the northeastern U.S., embodying a blend of tradition and practicality. While its popularity has declined over the decades, it is still available in some markets, continuing to serve as a reminder of simpler, resourceful meals. Number 15, Granola Bars, the original hard ones. Granola bars, the original hard ones, first gained popularity in the 1970s, fueled by the rise of the health food movement. These early granola bars were a far cry from the soft, chewy varieties seen today. Instead, they were hard, crunchy, and often difficult to bite into. Brands like Nature Valley pioneered the market, offering bars made from oats, nuts, and honey, positioned as a nutritious, natural alternative to sugary snacks. The bars were packed with whole grains and fiber, but their hardness was both their defining feature and drawback. Many consumers found them too tough to eat comfortably, but their long shelf life and portability made them ideal for outdoor activities like hiking and camping. The original granola bars catered to the growing demand for convenient, health-conscious food, though they eventually evolved into softer versions as consumer preferences shifted. Number 16, Snackin' Cakes. Snackin' Cakes were a product introduced by Betty Crocker in the 1970s, offering a simple, all-in-one boxed cake mix that didn't require additional ingredients like eggs or oil. Marketed as a convenient dessert or snack option, these cakes came pre-mixed with all the necessary ingredients, and consumers only had to add water before baking the cake in its included pan. Popular flavors included banana walnut and chocolate chip, making them a versatile treat for any occasion. What set Snackin' Cakes apart was the ease and speed of preparation. Unlike traditional cakes that needed extensive measuring and mixing, these were designed for busy households or for people looking to bake something quickly without much effort. The cakes were dense and slightly more rustic in texture than typical boxed cakes, giving them a homemade feel that appealed to families in need of a quick dessert. Despite their popularity in the 70s, the product eventually faded out of production as consumer preferences shifted toward healthier or more gourmet options. Number 17, Wena. Wena is a hot cereal that dates back to the late 19th century, but remained a staple in many American households well into the 1970s. Made from toasted ground wheat, Wena was marketed as a high-fiber, wholesome breakfast option, often compared to cream of wheat or oatmeal, but with a distinctively nutty flavor. Unlike the smoother texture of oatmeal, Wena maintained a heartier, grittier consistency, appealing to those seeking a more robust breakfast. During the 1970s, the cereal fit well with the growing focus on health-conscious eating. It was considered a nutritious option, packed with vitamins and fiber, making it a popular choice for families looking for a substantial and simple meal to start the day. Wena was typically served with milk, butter, and sometimes sweeteners, like honey or brown sugar, to balance its slightly earthy taste. Although it has faded somewhat in popularity in recent decades, Wena still resonates with those who appreciate traditional, nutritious hot cereals. Number 18, Jimmy Dean Sausage Patties. Jimmy Dean sausage patties revolutionized the frozen breakfast market when they were introduced in the 1970s. Founded by country singer Jimmy Dean, the brand focused on providing quick and convenient breakfast options that didn't sacrifice flavor. The sausage patties were made from seasoned pork, offering a savory and slightly peppery taste. They quickly became a favorite because they were pre-cooked, meaning they only required reheating, making breakfast preparation much faster for busy families. Their appeal lay in the rich flavor and the consistent quality that Jimmy Dean promised, with a focus on hearty, Southern-style breakfasts. Unlike raw sausage, which required time to cook properly, these patties were designed for ease, allowing consumers to have a hot, protein-packed meal in minutes. This convenience helped drive their popularity, especially as more Americans looked for time-saving solutions for breakfast. Jimmy Dean's sausage patties have remained a staple in frozen food aisles for decades, solidifying their place in American breakfast culture. Number 19. Fruit Brunch. Fruit Brunch was a cereal introduced in the 1970s, marketed as a healthier alternative to the sugary options dominating breakfast tables at the time. It featured a mix of whole grain flakes combined with pieces of dried fruit like apples, raisins, or berries, giving it a naturally sweet flavor without relying on added sugar. This cereal aimed to appeal to health-conscious consumers, aligning with the growing interest in natural foods during that decade. The product stood out due to its combination of fiber-rich grains and dried fruit, which provided both texture and a satisfying sweetness. Despite its initial popularity, Fruit Brunch struggled to maintain a foothold against more sugary cereals that dominated the market, leading to its eventual disappearance. However, its emphasis on natural ingredients was ahead of its time, influencing future trends toward healthier breakfast options. Number 20. Breakfast JellO. Breakfast JellO was an unusual trend that briefly emerged in the 1970s as part of the era's fascination with convenience foods and new ways to approach mealtimes. The idea involved incorporating JellO into breakfast, either as a gelatin-based dish mixed with fruits or combined with dairy products like yogurt or cottage cheese. It was positioned as a light and refreshing alternative to heavier breakfast options, aligning with growing diet-conscious attitudes of the time. Often, recipes suggested using JellO molds filled with chunks of fruit or cereals to create a visually appealing breakfast dish that could be prepared the night before. The versatility of JellO made it easy to add various fruits, which added natural sweetness and vitamins, but its appeal was limited, as it didn't provide the satiety or warmth traditionally associated with breakfast. The trend eventually faded, overshadowed by the preference for more protein-rich and whole-grain options, though it remains a quirky footnote in the history of breakfast experimentation.